able to discuss it intelligently. Some reasons for dropping out of the labor force: some individuals believe there's no work available for them. Others quit looking for work because they can't find it in their particular field. Some individuals lack skills. Things change over time. They don't have the experience. They don't have the education. We could even include discrimination in here. Some employers, and we're not talking about just racial discrimination. Some employers are getting rid of. I know this happened in the engineering sector, electrical engineering sector a few years ago, where they were getting rid of all their older employees. We're talking about age, because they were being paid the most and had given the best benefits. They cost them a lot of money. So why not hire somebody who's new, that is getting a very small salary in comparison, and is doing just as much quality work. We also have to take a look at the fact that over time, obviously, some cases it actually becomes more expensive to pay for childcare than it is to just stay at home and not work at all. Some people decide they can't afford it, and anyone that is a dependent upon another person, whether they're children or elderly, may decide that home is the best way to go, just because of the costs. Others we go back to one of those other ones, that people that drop out of the labor force, they just want to get retrained, or they want to go back to school, or they want to try a new field. They want to maybe start a new career. We also have issues with health concerns, illnesses, maybe even transportation problems, and the cost of transportation is highly cost prohibitive, and this could cause people to not be in the labor force. We call these people discouraged workers in economic terms, but they're not the only people who cause this rate to change. So let's take a look more deeply into this. Another reason for this change is found in how the government actually decides what employed and unemployed persons are, and the data, and how the data is collected. Remember the definition that we looked at a couple of minutes ago. We get back to this non-institutionalized civilian population. Well, that's kind of an interesting thing, because these are individuals not in correctional institutions. Non-institutionalized means not in psychiatric hospitals, in certain hospitals, homes for the aged, detention homes for juvenile. I mean, the list, as you can see, goes on and on and on and on. We're talking about what non-institutionalized is. If there's an increase in the number of individuals who are institutionalized, well, this is obviously going to play a role in changing the labor force participation rate. Another one has to do with this word civilian. We talked about this earlier, as opposed to non-civilian workers. We're talking about government jobs, especially the military. I mean, the military is a huge part of where the government employs individuals in the different military services and the support staff that go along with it. If there's an increase in non-civilian government jobs, your labor force participation rate may decline. Obviously, if we take a look at that. Another reason for the decline over time may be caused, as we said before, when workers leave the job market, they stay home, they decide to make changes. They are not considered to be employed or unemployed, and are not considered part of what we call the labor force. So again, you got to take a look at all these factors. Let's continue, and we take a look at one more reason, is labor force participation rate is related, or the decrease is related to the decreases in real wages of workers. And you can see this small graph at the bottom of the page. So we keep looking at what it means, again, to be employed or unemployed, and where we get all these statistics from. You may have even seen this in one of the in the other lecture where I may have mentioned it. Is the Census Bureau of Labor Statistics and in the under the Department of Labor. Thousands of people, hundreds of people are working on this all the time. They survey a sample of households, and they never ask these people whether they are employed or unemployed. Instead, they ask them questions so that the determination can be made by the Census Bureau. So they're basically asking these people detailed questions without getting from them whether they are or not employed to find out what's going on in the economy. So let's figure out who is employed, who is unemployed. Again, an employed person is someone who is they are a member of society, they are non-institutionalized, they are civilian workers, and they're age 16 or older. Okay. When they are given this survey during this particular period of time, during the survey week, did any work at all, okay, as a paid employee, okay, or worked 15 hours or more. They were not working but had jobs or business from which they were temporarily absent, okay, for whatever reason that may happen to be. Again, unemployed persons in this case are all non-institutionalized civilian workers 16 years or older who did not have employment during the reference week that they were doing this survey. They were available for work and had made some effort to find employment during the specific period of time. This is collected on the 12th of each month in that week and is collected the following week for the reference week. Persons who are waiting to be at their previous job from which they had been laid off need not have been looking for work to be classified as employed. I don't know if you remember this. It's coming back to haunt you again. Remember the production possibilities frontier curve. It's interesting because one of the reasons why we need to know the difference between the labor force and unemployment is how it relates to production possibilities curve when any of this stuff changes. When we think about how this all works out, if the labor force itself changes, this actually shifts the PPC. Remember we were talking about the shift movement outward or inward in a PPC is actually possible. Well, again, we're talking about these changes. Labor force is related to that. If unemployment rate goes up or down, PPC doesn't move. Okay. What does happen when there's an unemployment rate change is a change going from one point to another, respectively. So again, if unemployment goes up, you can see the change there. If unemployment goes down. The next phase of discussing employment is going to have to do with the different types of employment, and we will do that in another segment. We'll look at structural unemployment, frictional unemployment, and discuss how these types of unemployment are characterized. This is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the session about what unemployment is all about. And what the labor force is, and how we calculate these different things, or at least define them so that we make use of them in economic analysis. And I hope to see you soon. If you have any questions, I would highly suggest that as you went through this video, you jot your questions down. Anything you're not really sure about, or if you're not really if you're confused, bring it to class with you. It's a great time to bring those up for discussion for the class benefit. Again, thanks for your time.